What's up? When I was a little boy, I guess roughly just before kindergarten, or maybe I was actually in kindergarten, my biological father left us. And I didn't understand why. And it was rough. My mother found another man, and he was terrible. My mother and my father were drug users and drug dealers, and as a byproduct of this, we weren't able to really have a super classy lifestyle. Now, I'm not really looking for pity. What I'm actually wanting to tell you about is isms, racism, sexism, any kind of bigotry where one person feels that they are superior to another for any reason, be it their religion or their country of origin or whatever it might be. I wanted to tell you about my own experience with this. Being a white male, supposedly, I am supposed to have a lot of advantages and a lot of opportunities that women and people of other ethnicities here in the United States, I am supposed to be afforded all of these great things that they don't have access to because they are minorities. And I understand the history of my country, and I am well aware of what the ancestors who gave me this color of skin, I am well aware of the atrocities that they inflicted. I am well aware of the men today stuffed into their suits with their really nice ties and their really nice pants and their really fucking nice shoes. I understand what pompous windbag bastards these men can be. And typically, they are white dudes. They built their fortune by putting down women, and by putting down anyone who wasn't white, and by putting down other religions. Primarily, I don't want to vilify Christians, but primarily these men claim to be Christians. As a young boy, I did attempt to be a Christian. It was what my family believed, and so it was what I tried to believe, but the inconsistencies of my family's behavior compared to what I was learning in Sunday school was very confusing for me, to say the least. But aside from that, we were essentially what would now be called white trash. We were the ones that everybody in the neighborhood didn't want to play with. And I grew up in Southern California. The majority of the population in the area where I was, at least, was Mexican. And honestly, I'll be completely honest with you, I think Mexicans are great. If I have a bias about Mexicans, it's that they're awesome. So that is technically a kind of racism to be attributing one characteristic to an entire race, but I like Mexicans. So, what are you going to do? But consequently, contrary-wise, the Mexicans that I went to school with, they didn't like me. I was a serious victim of racism And I believe that this was because it was handed down from their parents who were mistreated by other white dudes, that it got filtered into their children not to like white dudes, and then their children tormented me relentlessly. And I had nothing to do with any of that. And so when it comes to matters of racism, I am very sympathetic to the minorities because I did get to experience it. In fact, I continue to experience it to this day. Just a couple of days ago, I was just out walking, and some black gentleman felt that he needed to look out of his window of his car as he drove by and scream obscenities at me. Possibly because I'm white, possibly because I shave my head and there's the stigma of the skinheads doing what they do. I definitely don't want to be associated with those guys. But just based on what I look like, people decide to hate me because of what other people of my ethnicity and gender have done. And that's really rough for me because I'm just this squishy marshmallow ball of love. So for myself, I really see, I do kind of, there's a lot of ways to divide a large group of people into just two categories. You can always make up just two categories. And my categories are basically people that I do want to interact with and people that I don't want to interact with. And those categories do not depend upon your country of origin, or your gender, or what color your skin is, or what your religion is. None of that particularly matters to me. What matters to me is, are you attempting to create beautiful things and to decrease the terrible things, or are you contributing to the horribleness of the world out of some misguided sense that you are somehow justified in doing these horrible things that you're doing? Everyone has the potential to get into the first category with me. I'm ready to like you, whoever you are, whatever you do. I'm ready to be your friend and to assume the best of you. If you're a woman and you make more money than I do, I'm not jealous of that. You're probably smarter than me. You probably work harder than I do. You probably deserve to make more money than I do. I'm not going to hold a grudge against that. I'm kind of lazy. And I like being lazy and being kind of a slacker in my life. It's the way I choose to be. And with that comes the realization that I am not going to make a fortune. I don't invest myself into climbing that ladder. I'm happy at the rung that I'm at. So if black people and Mexicans and Chinese people and Japanese people and Puerto Ricans and Guatemalans and Samoans, if they all climb the ladder faster than I do, yeah, make more money than me. Be my boss. I will call you sir. If you earn the title, I will call you that, and not hold any kind of a grudge. So I wish there was some way that I could visually convey that I am not like those people that oppress you, or I have nothing to do with the people that enslaved your ancestors. I would like to think that if I was there, I would have done something. But honestly, I'm kind of passive, so I don't know if I would fight the status quo. I'm glad that things have changed, and I'm not in the world where I have to make that moral decision. As it is, I am of the opinion that everybody should have equal opportunity to go as far as their skills can carry them, regardless of their gender, regardless of their sexual preferences. Sexual preferences should have nothing to do with anything, regardless of their color, regardless of their religion. None of that should matter. If you have the skills to do the thing that needs to be done, you make the world a better place, then I'm all for it. I'll be there. I'll hold you up. You do that awesome thing that you can do, and I will sit back and admire while you do it. And it was just a topic that was on my mind, so there you go. Bye for now.